Hello YouTube, Ronin Kaze, back from the dead. So, it's been a while since I've put up a video. If you want to know why I stopped doing the videos, I think the last video I did, number 400, it's basically explains everything. And as I was relaunching this channel, I tried to think about what I liked about the last channel and what was I trying to accomplish. And a lot has happened in the world since then. And instead of one more political podcast, whether I like what's going on or I don't like what's going on, that's not going to help because there's foundational issues. And that's kind of the name of this now, is Irreconcilable, because some things are just never going to get reconciled, right? They were not going to come to terms with some things. People have different ideas. If you think that you can reconcile things, you're just wrong, because you look at some of the longest standing disputes in history, and they're still there, or they were for a long time for certain reasons. There's just things that are different that people are never going to agree on. So that's kind of why the name in the bottom third is Irreconcilable, because that's kind of what we're going to discuss on how some things are irreconcilable. And immediately when you think about that, you think that that's going to be like a bad thing, or there's a negative connotation to that, but really it's not. It's really an acceptance of that. So, the next thing, how am I going to give this kind of information out to you? One of the things I was thinking about is, how can I give you this message? Still in the format, it's not real preachy. And in game, it's still like playing games. You have the Division 2 on here. And I'm going to be doing overtake a checkpoint. And this is the Navy Pier, I think that's what it's called. I'm still using the Vial Jammer build. This is Division 2. It's a great game. They're putting a lot of resources into it. Not a lot, but enough to make it keep going, sustaining. There's some interesting things. But I'm using the same build that I pretty much always have, because I found that it's the pretty much ultimate build to get through any type of content. One of the main things about it is that you're doing indirect damage, so you're in cover and you're putting forth a lot of damage through the Vial Jammer. And at the end of this video, I kind of explain. I don't explain it in words. I have video. I show each piece of gear I have. My expertise level now is level 30, but my gear has only been raised up to level 20, maybe 22 in some spots. But it's a great set, so you get to see exactly what I'm running and how I'm running it and the attributes I have on everything. But I was listening to a podcast the other day, and they were talking about fentanyl and, what a scourge it is. And the person mentioned that 200,000 people had died from fentanyl. And I wanted to, where is that coming from? Right? And that's kind of like in the Division when you're doing a build, and there's a lot of build videos because those are popular. And people will watch build videos because, maybe they're going to try something and they don't want to see the same build over and over and over again, because that's what makes the game good, is kind of trying different things. But in reality, I look at it a little different, for what I'm doing. So the guy was talking about fentanyl, 200 deaths. So I looked it up. I went on the CDC website and NIH, and whether you agree with the data or don't agree with the data is kind of immaterial when you come to arguments. It's the data that we have, so it's just where you can have a starting point. It's like I got in arguments previously on this channel about, what's the best build for electronics, and there's some pieces of gear that just some people don't want to use and they don't have to use, and they have a reason for doing it, and really the reason doesn't make any sense, but it makes sense to them. So really in the United States, we have a long tradition where we like to, everything is relative. And so getting back to the fentanyl, what did the 200,000 deaths mean? So I looked it up on first I looked at CDC, and my idea was I was going to put these graphs in the video so you could see it. So when I'm talking about something, here's the reference for that. And I went on there, and it's interesting. I first did, what was the amount of deaths last year of fentanyl? The last year they had when I did this a couple weeks ago was 70,000 plus deaths in 2023. So then I expanded it to 1999, and you could see a slow up ramp, and you could see, any amount of deaths are horrible, but the amount of uptick from 2019 to 2023, it's like, man, it's always been a problem. So I went back to 1999 to 2023, and it was not an issue a long time ago. It started becoming an issue between, let's say, 2014, 15, 16, and from 2016 on, there's been a steady rise, and it's tapered off now in 2023. So you can see that it's a problem. At some point, the deaths add up to 200,000. I don't know when. But what's important is you can see it's from what's available to a civilian to look up in the United States, the number of fentanyl deaths, and they'll describe exactly what they mean by that. And so in that criteria, what have happened with the deaths? And you can see there's a significant rise, and then it plateaus. So that's kind of what started the thought of me coming back on here is there's some people that think the cause is one thing, other people think it's another thing. And in reality, it's like when you make a build, there's so many pieces in this build. There's so many variables. Not all of us want to attribute or recognize all the variables that go into making something up. And this fentanyl thing is the same thing. Immaterial. The number of deaths is not debatable. You can debate it's lower or higher, but in reality, it's the number we have, and it shows a growth of it. So that narrative is kind of correct. How do we fix that? It's a whole different thing. So I don't have the answers for everything. That's not what the answers are. There is an answer. If you want to build that you can go through, please, try the vial jammer and the division. And if you go off my build, you're going to have pretty much success in everything you do, even legendaries. All right. All that being said, some of you may want to comment on this video. I have shut the comments off, and I don't know if that's good, bad, or indifferent. That's my other monitor came on. Maybe that light's even better. But for now, I have the comments shut off. When I first started the channel, I was trying to get to 1,000 people because I could monetize the channel. YouTube lowered it to 500. I got to like 400 and something at a certain point, and then it just stopped. And a lot of people said, hey, the comments got shut off, or I got unsubscribed, or whatever. And what I've come to find out, what I think happens, is that's part of YouTube's kind of thing. I never paid YouTube any money. I never bought any subscribers or anything like that. I just tried to do everything organically. I realized if I was running a business like Google, that maybe I had incentivized people to pay for some of our services to make the channel better so that you could grow the channel. But I didn't do that. So, and I understand it's their platform that they're providing, and I'm trying to get paid from them by providing content. So the comments aren't really that important. What I want to give you is some gameplay, and there's going to be different games. I thought about diversifying the channels and making a channel this. I'm just going to keep it kind of the same way. The point of this channel is to describe what the name of the channel is, Irreconcilable Things. And it's going to be a journey, I guess. And I hope you appreciate it. I hope you like it. So if you subscribe, that helps. And if you like it, but you don't necessarily have to comment, there might be a way where I figure out how to do that. If I was like on a Patreon kind of thing, I kind of shied away from that. But if I was on Patreon and I asked for money from you, then yeah, I would do comments, but it's, especially in these times, I don't want to argue with people about a lot of things, about a lot of points. That's not the point of this. How I consume podcasts is that I listen to them and it's a topic I want to talk about, and there's some people I like just the vibe that they're given. I tune into certain things over and over again because I like the format. I like the familiarity of it. I like some of the things they cover. I don't like everything about every single point of their podcast, but in general, I like that podcast. I also realized a long time ago when I first started this, I made it a lot longer and it was a lot more in depth and blah, blah, blah. But I'm trying to keep it between, 12 and 17 minutes. It's something you can consume, it's something you can consume in bite-sized morsels where it's long enough that it's more than 5 minutes. It's not so long that you get locked into something that, you just never finish because it's too long. So I'm back and tried to get my setup. So I don't know if this is going to work. This is kind of how I used to do it, but I used to be able to blur my background. I can't blur my background, so I don't know. I forgot how to do it, and I've had to relearn some of the stuff. Also, computer-wise, which is always important to me, I had bought an Asus Flow X16, and it was great, and it was my main computer, but it always had a little bit of problems. And eventually, it is just shit the bed. And by shit the bed, I mean it would just shut down for no reason. Now, sometimes if I got launched games and got games going, it would stay on for like 24 hours. And other times when I'd restart it, it would just keep shutting down until I started a program and ran a program. So recently, I switched to a Mac Mini M4. So I haven't got the Division 2 running on that yet. That's kind of a project, but I got other Steam running and my Steam games are running. And so I have this Mac side of the universe. On my backup computer, it was on Windows 11. I just went to hiatus. It's an Arch-based distro for gaming. And I have Steam running on that. And I have a Lenovo Legion Go, and that's what I'm running the Division on. So one of the thoughts that I always want to do is lower my electrical consumption on all this, and I do the rendering on a iPad Pro M4 with LumaFusion. So that's what's going on. We're at the end of I captured the checkpoint, and I'm going to go over my build here real quick. And I appreciate it if you sign back up. I appreciate it if you just visited the first time. Thanks for coming by. There's going to be different games. And you're going to have to live with some of those games. Eventually we'll get to a point where you guys give me some feedback. But here's going to be the build. So what you're going to see here is I'm going to pull up my build and have it written over there. That's what the build is over on the left, and I show you the pieces. Basically, it's as fast as I can get in my skill haste. That's the thing. You want your skill haste where your file jammer is less than 12 minutes or 12 seconds or right at 12 seconds. Okay, this is Ronin Kaze. Thanks. I'm back, everyone. Appreciate anyone that's stopping by new. Look to talk to you again soon. Bye.